Hello, people. I want to talk about tonight. Uh, RJ did a show with Michael Dileonardo, and it was a very interesting show because, listen, I'm a 62-year-old man. The way I think is probably different than a lot of young people think. But the fact of the matter is that there was some things said. It was a lot of poetic things said tonight in RJ show with Michael Dileonardo. He talked about being the godfather to John Jr.'s son. I did not realize that. So here's a man that turned evidence against the man who trusted him to be a godfather. Uh, so these are things we don't know about. And he also said that if John Gotti didn't die, he probably never would have turned evidence or turned into a informant. We don't know that. You know, Michael may say that, but we don't know if that's true or not. But what he did do tonight is he took Sammy apart. I did a show the other day going over the same things that about Sammy as he did tonight, but he did it better than me because you know why? He knows Sammy. I don't know Sammy. He's been on the street with Sammy. He was friends with Sammy. Sammy defied the boss and went to his brother's funeral. So there must have been some type of relationship there. But for some reason, Sammy has to say that he was. I love the answer he gave tonight when he was called a hangaround guy. Sammy called him a hangaround guy. And he says, yeah, I was hanging around. I was hanging around John Gotti behind him where I belonged. But Sammy, that makes you a hang around guy because you were hanging around, like he said, you were holding his umbrella. You were standing right next to him behind John Gotti. You weren't in front of John Gotti. And neither was Mikey Dileonardo. And that's something to really, really understand. So he gave you props on that, calling him hang around guy. But he also said something very suspicious, very. That you said that people are sucking the Gotti's you know what. Well, he said that if anybody should not talk about sucking you know what, it's you, Sammy. I have no idea what he means by that. But there are rumors out there. Lots of them. From back in the day, Sammy. I found that very interesting. I think, Sammy, what you're doing right now is you're picking a fight that you may not want. Because one, Mikey Dileonardo is a lot smarter than you. You're a street guy. You're ruthless. You would kill to take over people's businesses. You said that you never killed to take over businesses. Mikey Dileonardo said you're a liar. So that's another thing. Mikey Scars has never attacked anybody before. He doesn't come on here. RJ, these aren't attack channels. It was mentioned tonight that he mentioned me where he said that I don't really like him. It's not that I don't like Mikey Scars. I don't like what he did. And but saying that, I have to remember one thing. Out of all these guys, all these informants that come on here, there's only one informant that actually takes responsibility for what they did. They actually understand what they did and what a scumbag they are for doing it. None of these other informants will, they all have the same thing. I did it because, we had a big long list of why I ratted. I showed that and I played why each person said they ratted, and they all had a reason. Mikey Scars pretty much lets it be known that his reason was he did not want to go to prison. And he was pissed off about a couple things. That still doesn't give him the right, but he has to live with it. He has to think about John Gotti Jr. being out there with his godson, and he can't have any part of his godson's life. And his godson's becoming a very successful person. Mikey Scar says people have the right to bash him. He says Sammy and him are not good people. He says that. I'm not going to decide who's good people and who's not. All I'm talking about is who was an informant. And the fact that Mikey Scars did put a lot of men away, a lot of good men. When he ratted, he sent men to prison on cold cases that would have never went to prison if he didn't come out, if he didn't come forward. Those cases were dead. And some of the guys that he sent to prison weren't hardcore murderers. They may have been involved in a murder, but they weren't hardcore murderers. They weren't Tommy Karate, where they were going around killing, maybe hundreds of people. And then Sammy said also that Mikey Dileonardo went and talked to his grandchildren about Sammy. Michael Dileonardo says Sammy's a liar, that he never spoke to the family, and that Sammy's lying. So if you put Michael Dileonardo in the corner and Sammy Gravano in the corner, and you had to say you trusted one of them, who would it be? I would not trust Sammy, because how many times do you catch Sammy saying lies? He said that Mikey Scars wasn't ever really involved in anything, but he was involved. He was implicated in 3 murders, which I didn't know. I made the statement on here that he was looking at 8 years. I'm wrong. And sometimes it's good to listen to people to learn. And the more I learn, there's only one show on here that really I've been learning from, and it is R.J. Rogers' show. Because when Mikey Dileonardo talks, you could tell he's not lying. But Sammy, you caught him in so many lies, whether it's Kevin Kaiser. I'm Kevin Kaiser. I'm sorry. I had a friend named Kevin Kaiser, by the way. Whether it's Alan Kaiser. We know that Sammy lied about that. And we can go on and on about the things that Sammy has lied about on his show, just by looking at his 302s. He talked about a bartender that was murdered because the bartender was mean to Sammy and he hurt Sammy's feelings. And when the bartender was murdered, he was there, Sammy. He was part of that murder. He knew about that murder. So you're saying that he's a hang-around guy. He was nothing. But if you look at his, when he went to court, if you look at his 302s, you see that he knows a lot of things, Sammy. He was also head of a union that was actually doing well. He even gave you credit, Sammy, and said that you did a much better job. So I don't understand, Sammy, why all of a sudden you decided to attack Mikey Scars. Mikey Scars wasn't even talking about you. So this just started, you did that show the other day, and it sounds like somebody put something up your ass. Wait, maybe I shouldn't say that. Well, someone got you going on it. Who knows? And also, he was involved with more than one murder plot with you. There was a murder that didn't happen, but you guys were plotting it out together. So, Sammy, why would you come on and just say blatant lies? You know these are lies. And you'll still say them, Sammy. So what would your answer be? Now, are you going to come out and attack him and say horrible things? Here's the reality, Sammy. You've come out and you said horrible things about all the Gottis. You blame them for being what you are. Mikey Scars doesn't blame anybody for being what he is. And let me make something clear. I do not ever talk to RJ. Maybe once, twice in the last year and a half. I definitely don't talk to Mikey Scars. These are my opinions. And maybe my opinions don't mean much, but they're still my opinions. And Sammy, he called you out on so many things tonight. I would like to see if you can even answer them and come back with proper answers. I don't think he can. What did he say about Angel Gotti tonight? He said that Angel Gotti was just defending the family name. And we watch shows on here that attack Angel Gotti. They attack her children because she's defending the Gotti name. We had a little weasel today that did a show on John Gotti Jr. because he was mad that he had a fight. It's like he wanted to prove a point. So he did a show on John Jr. today, not because he had it planned. He said, when he came on my show the other day, he said he had nothing planned on the Gottis, and yet he did a show on the Gottis today. And yes, I'm talking about Jeff Nadeau, which makes it very weird that, I know RJ and Jeff Nadeau are friends, and what a weird combination there. One guy's honorable and one's not. Weird combination. Okay, and it's like I said, this man said that nobody cannot, well, let me rephrase that. He said anybody has the right to attack them for what they've done. The problem is Sammy will fight back and tell you why it's okay that he did it. And you got to give a shout out. RJ said something that I said about him, and people were saying that this was planned between Mikey Scars and Sammy Gravano. I came out and said, no, there's no way it's planned. I've had people argue with me, even friends argue with me about it, that they thought it was planned. And knowing RJ, I said there's no way RJ would be involved with that. And he confirmed it tonight. He confirmed that he would never. He said that he should lose all his subs and he shouldn't have a show if he was involved with anything like that with Mikey Scars. I said I would trust RJ before Mikey Scars, without a doubt. And it's the truth. So anybody that's saying that this is a plot between these two guys, I'm going to tell you what, the things that Mikey Scars said tonight about Sammy has absolutely proven to me there is no plot between these two to be fighting like him and France. But when Sammy and Michael Francis was going at it, it wasn't really nothing bad said. Silly arguments where Sammy jumped up, a 78-year-old man jumping up, threatening to beat up a man much younger than him. Sammy reminds me of that. There was a scene in the movie The Ghost with Patrick Swayze. At the end, the person in the street was captured, and they came from hell to pull him into hell. The demons came from hell to pull him into hell. That's what's going to happen with Sammy. Sammy has no remorse for what he did. He doesn't care about what he did. And it's obvious where this is leading for Sammy, whether you believe in God or not. I'm just saying, if you believe in hell and heaven, and that goes for me too, I might have a spot waiting for me in hell. But for Sammy, they're going to grab real quick. They're going to bring him down real quick. I mean, he might take over the throne down there. He might be the next guy in charge down there. Because even when you look at a guy like a mass murderer like Tommy Patera, this guy, ruthless, possibly murdered over 100 people, cut them up, buried them, put a woman's head in his refrigerator. But you know the difference between him and Sammy? He's sitting in prison. He had the opportunity to rat. And he could have taken down the Bonanos and the Gambinos because he had something to do with both families. He knew a lot of the in and outs of both families. But he still took his time, and he's still sitting in a cell. But we got a serial killer off the street. Can you imagine how many more people he would have killed? It would have been a lot more people. But I just find this very interesting. The more I watch that show, the more I like it. And listen, people, I'm not kissing nobody's butt. And people will say, "Oh, Lee, you're taking Mikey Scars over. That's your new favorite." No, it's not. It's the quality of the show. It's the product. That's what I like. See, us on here, we fight and act like animals. And I've done that. Ever since I've tried to make my show more consistent and better and put up mob content, And whether you like Mikey Scars, whether you like Sammy Gravano, the fact of the matter is they are real mob content. They are two of the last cowboys, let's say, of the 90s, the 70s, 80s, and 90s. But Sammy, when Sammy Gravano gets mad, he lies. He lies to hurt people. And tonight, he was called out on every one of those lies. So I would tell people to go watch that show. And I appreciate the fact that he seems to have a very deep regret of what he did with the Gottis. He talked about Angel Gotti and that he watches her show, that RJ watches her show, and the things she says. I know Angel. She's a good friend of mine. And I can tell you guys this much. When she says something about someone, she means it. She's very anti-rat. And no matter what people say about her brother, I'm talking about Angel Gotti. I'm talking about John Gotti Sr. This isn't a show about John Gotti Jr. John Gotti Sr. did not rat. Angel doesn't like rats because it was rats that put her husband, her father, a rat named Sammy Gravano, away. Maybe he would have went away even without Sammy's testimony, but Sammy jumped all over it so he can get his freedom. I just wanted to talk about that and put this out. You guys may not want to have me sit here and talk, no pictures, nothing entertaining, just me bullshitting. But, I would say to RJ Rogers, keep up the good work. Keep putting out top quality product. Hey, listen, I'm at the age, I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. But when I watch quality product, and that's what RJ's show is, quality product. Before Mikey Scars came along, it was a quality show. And we're supposed to put out quality. When we attack people on a continuous basis on our shows, it's not quality. My numbers are going up now because I'm putting out quality. And quality works, people. And with that, I'd like to say thank you. Please sub. I wasn't expecting to put this video down tonight. But after watching that excellent show, I had to put down the video. And I'm always going to be watching that show because there's always interesting things that are said. And you guys are going to be saying, well, Lee, you're going with Sammy and you're putting Sammy on your thumbnail along with Mike to get people to watch. This is a business. You go with what sells. I put up a video of me, a short video of me taking pictures of cows, a film of a cows in my shorts, and got hardly no hits on it. I put one up of a tornado shelter that's been built in my town, and it's well over 1,000 on a short. So when we put stuff up here, we never know what it's going to do. I don't know what this one's going to do right here, but I'm going to put it up and just see where it goes. And you're going to hear me mention Gravano's name and Mikey Scar's name a lot more because of what's going on with them and because facts are being put out there. Not, facts, real true facts. We don't get true facts from Sammy Gravano. We just don't. We get Sammy facts. It's a big difference. With John A-Light, we get A-Light facts. We're actually getting facts that are actually facts, truthful facts. With that, people, thank you so much. And I hope you enjoyed this. Please hit the like button.